And dawn has just broken over the east coast of Australia. But what we're going to do now is cross over the ditch to New Zealand. It's brunch time over there, and I'd like to introduce Stuart Miller from HRDNZ. Over the past 8 years, he and his team have been developing targeted 100% online Moodle-related courses with a broad range of subjects. So it's not really narrow, it is broad. And I'm sure there's going to be something for everyone. Over to you, Stuart.
Thank you very much, Merrin. I'll just put my camera on so I can do the obligatory wave at everyone. And there we go. There I am, complete with headphones and my favourite USB microphone, which is a Nessie blue microphone, and I can highly recommend them. You may notice that I'm actually lying on a bed right now, and that's because I have a broken ankle and I'm in a cast, and I'm attending the whole iMoot this year from my bed. So it's an interesting approach to convalescence, but I've got plenty of painkillers, and everything seems okay. So hello to everyone. What people will try and get out of, yes, absolutely. But the painkillers are doing their job, so that's all good. I have 3 pins in my ankle, screwed into the bone right now. So yeah, I'll knock my camera off so it helps with the bandwidth. And good to see some people arriving. So if you want to, you can just post which country you're from or what time it is there, and also whether you've heard of MoodleBites before or not. I recognise some names in the room already from people who've actually taken some courses with us, so that's really nice. Good to see you guys. Okay, I'll just knock my camera off there. So we've certainly got a good selection of time zones and locations there. Really appreciate for people who are up early or staying up late for this. Really do appreciate that. Good to have you along, and hopefully we'll have something of value for you here today. Please feel free to make comments in the chat. I'm fairly good at multitasking, and I'll try and pick up on questions as we go. Or you can save them to the end, that's fine. Possibly the most important thing to mention straight away is that we're a sponsor of the iMoot this year, and therefore we are giving away a number of free courses for people that attend this session. There's one each of the MoodleBites for teachers, MoodleBites for course designers, and MoodleBites for administrators. And we'll do that on a completely random draw, although you are able to indicate which course you would prefer. And obviously, if we've got 10 people picking teachers and 2 people picking administrators, you've got a 50-50 chance of winning the administrators course. So choose wisely. No, choose whatever you feel is best for your level, because we'll talk about these courses as well. So you'll notice that I've used the cat in the hat there. I'm sure many people recognise that. I have an 18-month-old daughter, so the cat in the hat is actually a major part of my life right now. And if we had time, I could probably recite the first half of the first book off by heart, because I read it at least twice a day at the moment. So in the spirit of Cat in the Hat, next time that you see the Cat in the Hat, a code will be there, so take note of that. Write it down quick, and later you'll see that you might win a course completely for free. So look out for the Cat in the Hat. He is going to appear later on. That's a fantastic way to keep people paying attention. The cat in the hat will appear, and there will be a code, and you'll need to use that code to enter the competition. Okay, so more about that later. My background, I'm the managing director of HRDNZ. We're a Moodle partner. 10 years will have been a Moodle partner, actually next year, which does make me feel old, but also has also makes me have a huge vested interest in Moodle, obviously. I'm a PHM on Moodle, particularly helpful Moodler. They're the people that are voted for, the people that contribute to forums and discussions, and people say, that's helpful. So PHMs are people that are rated as very helpful on Moodle.org. I spend quite a bit of time in there, not as much as I used to right now, unfortunately. But lots of our staff are in there as well as PHMs. And I think there are about 110 PHMs, and we've got about 6 or 7, which is fantastic. I'm the certification manager, so I run the Moodle Course Creator Certificate and coordinate that with the other Moodle partners around the world. I also facilitate a number of forums on Moodle.org, the database forum and the business uses forum. Recently, I've become one of the plugin testers, so trying to test all the new plugins that people are contributing to Moodle to make sure that they're reliable and well documented and secure and so on. And we've been involved in the iMoot right since the beginning, and really look forward to it every year. We've got a number of people that work with us this year presenting: Richard and William and Tabitha and Paula. Not Teresa this year. Teresa was on the organising committee last year, but she's just been in the UK at the UK MoodleMoot and is on her way back, and I believe she's in Singapore right now, which is a reasonable excuse for getting out of any work this year, I guess. I'm sure she'll be back next year with a vengeance. And I've presented at more than 20 MoodleMoots worldwide, and I do that because I think it's really important to talk to people and meet the teachers and meet the administrators and see the cultural differences from one country to another in how Moodle and e-learning is used. So that's an absolutely fascinating part of the job for me. So what is MoodleBites? Well, MoodleBites, in fact, is the kind of brand name of our online training. So we are HRDNZ, Moodle partner based in New Zealand, and MoodleBites is where we do all our online training. So it's just a kind of brand name, if you like. As a business, just very vaguely, our business is approximately 25% hosting, 30%-ish on training, 20% looking at technical consultancy and support for clients, and then 25% all those other things that we do, theme development, content development, etc. A huge variety of things in that last category, in fact. I do want to stress that even though we're a Moodle partner, and that means that we're a commercial company, we make money from supporting Moodle in lots of different ways. I have a philosophy that you don't have to just be commercial, that you can put effort into free things that benefit everyone. So one of the things that we've been doing over the past few years is producing the free Moodle podcast. Now, you can listen to that podcast either on iTunes. So if you have an iPhone or an iPod, or you use an Apple Mac, or you use iTunes on Windows, you can subscribe to the podcast, and every month we have a different interview, and we've had recently people like Howard Miller, who facilitates one of the busiest forums on Moodle.org. We've had Gavin Henrik, who's well known in the Moodle world and organises the UK Moot. Marcus Green is going to be in the June podcast, which we've just completed. You can listen on iTunes. If you don't have iTunes or you don't like iTunes, you can also listen on SoundCloud. Last year, we moved all of the podcasts to SoundCloud as well, so you can just listen with any kind of web browser or podcast client that you prefer. It's certainly really interesting when you hear people that you know from Moodle.org perhaps, and you actually hear them in a conversation. It somehow really does bring you closer to those personalities, and yeah, a fascinating project. If you haven't listened, give it a go. Yeah. Something else that we do completely for free is we run the freemoodle.org site, and this allows any teacher in the world to put a course on the site and to run it completely for free. There is no hosting charge, there is no advertising. The only things that we ask are that the courses are open to anyone in the world, and we try and encourage teachers to collaborate as much as possible. So rather than having 50 courses on third year mathematics, we would like to see maybe 2 or 3 courses developed cooperatively and collaboratively with teachers maybe from different parts of the world or different states or different countries. So if you don't know anything about freemoodle.org, go along and check it out. There are some very interesting courses there already, and yeah, we encourage people to use that, and we support it as much as we can. So this presentation is really going to look at what MoodleBites is and the variety of the courses there. We're going to share with you the content and structure, and if this helps you in your own course design, then that's absolutely fantastic. No one's here saying you have to do these courses. If you can benefit from this session in some way with your own courses, that's great. I'm going to look at some of the statistics and the information around licensing and fees as well. So over the past 8 years, we've developed a number of online courses, and in our minds and in our strategy, we've had 2 very clear groups of participants. One is the teachers and the other is the administrators. So the courses that were available in 2014 were for teachers, MoodleBites for Teachers, which is the entry level, cover everything, all your activities, all your resource types, etc. And then a more advanced course for people who have pretty well mastered Moodle, but want to understand far more about maybe how to integrate SCORM, or how to do advanced reporting or advanced lessons, so it's very much a next level up course. And for administrators, we have the MoodleBites for Administrators course, obviously, a course for theme designers, obviously very specific for people that want to create themes for Moodle, and MySQL reporting, again, very specific for people that want to generate and customize and create their own reports for Moodle. So let's just build on that a little bit. So each of those courses are 8 weeks in duration. They're completely online and asynchronous. Because of the fact that we have people from all around the world doing these, then we don't have set times. We basically open a new course each week across those 8 weeks. And based on demand, obviously we run these courses with different frequencies. MoodleBites for Teachers is the most popular, so that actually starts every 2 months, whereas some of the other courses, such as MySQL reporting, a lot more specific, smaller numbers, so that would run usually twice a year. This year, we are extending that number of courses in a number of directions. So we have a MoodleBites for Facilitators course, which sits underneath the Teachers course. I'll talk about that a little bit more. We have the MoodleBites for Developers on the bottom right there. MoodleBites for Developers, we've seen that there really isn't a good course for people that want to start developing Moodle, developing new plugins or customizing some code. So we have Justin Hunt, who is running a session here at the iMoot on basic development in Moodle. Justin is going to be the lead facilitator for that course, and we're writing it right now, and that'll start in October. And then the other new course that we have there is MoodleBites SCORM. Over the past few years, we've had lots of clients and people asking us if we can do more in the area of SCORM, both in terms of how do you use SCORM effectively within Moodle, and also what packages, what applications are out there that are perhaps free or open source that we can use to create content. So this will be a course very much focused on the external systems and the SCORM systems, which will enhance Moodle. And Marion's just asked, what will you be doing that? We'll be looking at all sorts of things. We'll be looking at, obviously, the things like EXE, which was developed in New Zealand, but has actually been taken over, I think, by a Dutch company at the moment, but they're doing some great work with that. We've got things like Course Lab. We've got things like how to use PowerPoint to actually create SCORM-type objects, lots of different aspects. Across the 8 weeks, I think there will be 8 different packages that we look at, and I think almost all of those will be free and open source. So the types of things that participants will be able to go and download and actually use themselves for free. So that's the aim there. So just to continue putting more information onto here, this is the type of thing people need to know as well. So MoodleBites for Teachers is $199 US. Course Designers, because it's more intensive, $299. And SCORM will be even more advanced, I guess, at $399. Interesting one to note is that MoodleBites for Facilitators is going to be, we're going to keep that as cheap as possible, if you like, at $99. Partly because the course is shorter, but also we wanted to create a course that had a much lower price band, so it wasn't so much of a barrier to entry for many people. You know, in some parts of the world, the difference between $99 and $199 is absolutely huge. So we wanted to create something that would work at an entry level. The other one pricing that's worth mentioning there is MoodleBites for Developers. Now, that is a premium level course. It is going to be around $800, but we're running a pilot scheme in October. We always pilot all our courses first time, and that means that the price is going to be much lower, because we know there'll be a few little things that we don't get perfectly right, and we also want lots of feedback from people who take that first course so that we can go into that second development phase. So if you are interested, or if you know someone who is interested in a Moodle developers course, then that's a really good opportunity to work with a developer who's created over 30 plugins in use all over Moodle and actually get some, really good professional development at a very cut price. So if you don't know people interested in that, please let them know. We'd love to have about 20 people on that course, giving us lots of feedback and helping us make improvements to the content and the way it works and so on. Just to share how that training market and how those courses break down, I did a quick analysis of the last kind of 3,000 people that have taken these courses. Now, MCCC is on there because we do a lot of Moodle Course Creator Certificate support, so that looks like a big chunk there. But then if we look at, we can see that MoodleBites for Teachers is obviously one of the main courses, closely followed by the MoodleBite for Administrators. There are a lot of administrators out there, people in schools who've maybe been pushed into the management of their Moodle site. Possibly they never asked for that; it just came their way, And it's really quite difficult to self-teach yourself all these things about Moodle administration. You know, it is pretty tough. And then we have the Moodle Bites for course designers, and then obviously smaller numbers for the MySQL course and smaller numbers for the theme designers course. So that kind of reflects how we look at the participants flowing through these courses. Very briefly, because I'm going to go through this anyway. So our courses have high definition movies, and they're created with Camtasia these days. We did previously use a system called Wink, which we really liked because it was free and open source, but the audio side of that was never quite right. I would love to be using a free and open source system to make these movies. The reality is at the moment that Camtasia does things better and easier and faster than any other option we've been able to find. So we do use Camtasia for those. Each course, you get a certificate of completion at the end. We ensure that all course graphics are lightweight and fast. There are PDF resources. All these courses are facilitated as well. They're not self-study, and they're not designed to be self-study. They are designed fundamentally as facilitated. So lots of interaction going on. We have practice areas for people, and we actually get people practicing in the same areas, in the same courses, so they can see what each other are doing. We really like that way of working. Lots of quizzes and self-test questions, obviously, in these courses. And for example, in the MoodleBites for teachers, you know, we cover all the activities and resources that a teacher will generally use. Our facilitators are all MCCC qualified, so, you know, they know Moodle backwards, basically. And they come from a variety of backgrounds as well, both from school teachers and university teachers and commercial trainers, so we get a very good balance there. And as well as the certificate, you would get an open badge as well. So I'm just going to briefly look at the distinctions between these different courses. This presentation will be uploaded into the course area, and each of these slides has a link to the actual course outline. So this is basically my 2 or 3 points, but if you want to see the detail of these courses, you can click on the course outline links. So MoodleBites for facilitators, as we said, just 4 weeks, very focused on facilitating within Moodle. So we're not going into huge detail here on something like a workshop or a lesson. This is the entry-level course, low price, and very much focused on effective facilitation within Moodle. Then we have our MoodleBites for teachers. This is our most popular course because this goes from 0 to 100. It starts with how do you navigate in Moodle and use the editor. It goes through all the blocks and modules into areas like course management and user management and file management, finishing off with things like how to use multimedia within your course. And all these courses from this point on, they're all around 40 hours study. So across the 8 weeks, we say to people, you know, you'll be spending between 2 and 5 hours on this course. That's how much material and work is in there. Okay. After the teachers, we have that course designers, which is a more advanced level where we talk about things like SCORM and advanced media, but we also look at issues like accessibility and usability. So making sure that your courses are actually designed in a way that's going to work mobile, that's going to work with screen readers, etc. And we also touch on, in this course, the use of plugins within Moodle. The administrator's course, as you might expect, goes from installing Moodle on, we actually get everyone to install a local host, a local installation of Moodle so that they can experiment. And that's something that all administrators would actually want and need at some point in their life. We look at how we configure and optimize the back end of Moodle to make it work really well. Different approaches to the organization of the site, basics around themes, and reporting and monitoring from an administrator point of view, which is very different to a teacher point of view, and third-party plugins, of course. Some of the more specialist courses, MoodleBites MySQL, reporting. This is for people that want to create their own reports from the back end of Moodle. So although Moodle provides lots of reports, it doesn't provide every report you could ever want. Using SQL, which is structured query language, we can write our own reports using a variety of methods, plugins or the command line, and we can develop reports that suit our purpose or suit our management requirements. So this course takes people from knowing nothing about MySQL and structured query language all the way through to being able to create some pretty amazing reports for themselves. Another specialist course, theme designers. Not everyone wants to create their own theme for a Moodle site. It is certainly a specialist area. In this course, we look at all the things that people need to understand there, how to customize an existing theme, CSS and layouts, and importantly, some of the tools and techniques that can really help ease the development of themes, because it's not an easy area. You know. And then, as I mentioned, the one of the new courses coming along this year, launching in October with a pilot scheme, is the developers course, where we'll look at how to adapt a plugin using classes and quick forms, schedule tasks, how to put the backup and restore system into your plugin, menus, languages, file retrieval, renderers, which make my head ache when I try to understand these things. But for people who have done some development or are familiar with PHP, then you can come into this course and relate that directly to Moodle and start to develop your own plugins and adapt plugins. So there isn't another course out there, as far as we're aware, that does this. Previously, a number of people within Moodle developed a course, but because it was very much a volunteer effort, those things get out of date so easily. If you think about how Moodle changes every 6 months, right? When we have a commercial course like this, obviously we have to keep it up to date. And in some ways, having that commercial pressure will make this course far better than the volunteer one, which got out of date very quickly and isn't maintained anymore. So it's good to have that commercial pressure sometimes on these things, So this is the part that everyone's been waiting for, and some people might just disappear after this. But if you would like a chance of winning one of the 3 free courses that we are giving away as sponsors this year, make a note of the competition code that you see there, the cat in the hat. And in the course for this session, there is a competition entry. It's a little feedback activity. And in there, you just have to put your contact details, which course you want, and the competition code that's there. And we'll randomly draw one person for each of those courses. Let me just read a couple of things here. Marion asking about PHP. W3C schools is always something that we recommend for people, just because it's so easy and everyone knows it, and the information in there is pretty good, because there are so many people looking at it that errors and things that need clarifying get picked up on pretty quick. So Code School. Do you have any update courses for administrators trainers who are very experienced in older versions of Moodle? That's an interesting question, Dot. We used to actually run a Moodle upgrade course, so where people were, and that was around the time of Moodle 1.9 to Moodle 2, which was, of course, a very big change. But we've actually found that the amount of time it takes us to develop and maintain an update course, that it's actually just easier and better to sort of say to people, well, take the new administrators course, and as you'll see shortly, this is actually updated every year anyway. So the reality is that you may look at some parts and think, oh, I already know that, that's fine. And then there'll be other sections within the course that are new. So I guess if you did a course every other year, that would provide you with quite a lot of information. And of course, you need to time this as well with the way your institution actually upgrades. I saw someone in the chat yesterday who said we're still on Moodle 1.9. Which was a bit of a shock and a bit of a worry, to be quite honest. But we don't always have the power to, even as administrators, we don't always have the power to keep things up to date. There are lots of other factors in there. Okay, so yeah, please enter the competition. Thank you for coming along. Please do, and you might win one of those courses. And good luck with that. So I want to talk a little bit about licensing, because this is really one of the unique points of MoodleBites. Is our most popular course, which is MoodleBites for Teachers. We actually allow other organisations to license these courses onto their own site. So you can say to us, we have a number of staff that we're going to train this year in our organisation. Rather than sending them on your course, we would like to run that in-house. Can you provide us with the 8 courses which comprise MoodleBites for Teachers? And the answer is yes, we can. So reasons why we might do this, or reasons why you might do this. First of all, it's very cost effective for larger numbers. If you've got more than 50 people you want to train, it's actually cheaper to buy a license than it is to put people through our courses. Perhaps more importantly, it's flexible. So you can deliver it in a way that suits you. So we have our start dates that are every 2 months. You might want to start in the middle of a month, run it for 6 weeks, stop over a semester break, and then continue afterwards. And having the license, having the courses on your own server, totally allows you to do that. And you can also remove and edit and hide and add to the course completely as you wish. There's no restrictions. We've built these courses as topic based. So if, for example, we've got a topic about, off the top of my head, let's say using RSS feeds, and you don't want to mention RSS feeds in your course, then you are simply able to just hide that topic. Or if you wanted to move it to a later course or into a different course, you can do that. No restriction. It's very immediate. It can be up and running within a week, literally. We have had people who've asked us for this, we've invoiced them, they've paid, and they've had the courses literally within a week on their servers. And it's the amount of time that it saves. So, I mean, there are hundreds, if not thousands of hours worth of content development here. And if you're sitting there right now thinking, right, we're going to go to Moodle 2.9 at the end of the year, how many hours is it going to take us to develop all that content to support teachers? I can't play on. Okay. You can, I've lost my track there. Sorry for a second. So I've totally lost my track there. Sorry, I was reading the chat and I got slightly waylaid. So yeah, you can be up and running within a week. The courses are also very theme neutral. So we haven't used any strong branding or formatting within these courses. So when you restore the courses onto your own Moodle site, and apply your theme, it looks exactly like your own work. So we don't, it looks like yours. That's great. It's up to date. So if you took a license now, it would be 2.9, and it's 2.7. And from December this year, it's all going to be in 2.9. So if you did want to train a lot of people in 2.9, starting in December or starting in January, this would save you any development time whatsoever, really. And it's very easy to install. It really is just, it's supplied as Moodle course backups, and we give you a configuration guide, and we also give you email support if you've got questions about the installation or any questions once you've installed it around how to edit and so on. So hugely flexible. Marion asking for a ballpark figure. I'm going to come on to some exact figures because I think people need those. So here's the information regarding pricing of licensing. And this is a single purchase fee. You pay a one-off fee and the content is delivered and it's yours to do with what you wish within your institution. Obviously, you can't sell this to other people and you can't train people outside of your organization. So for installations over 100 users, which would be universities, large schools, large companies, then that's $8,000. And for smaller organizations, schools with 50, 60 teachers, private training companies, charities and not-for-profits, we offer that basically for half fee, which is $4,000. And we do have options as well. So if you would like one of our facilitators to customize the content with you, or perhaps co-facilitate courses the first time you run them with your own staff, then we can arrange that as well for obviously a much smaller additional fee. After girls, I think it's okay. Thanks, Trish. So we try and keep that pricing, really as simple as possible. We could do lots of multi-layers and so on, but it would just get, I think, a little bit confusing. This way, it's just very easy for people to see, we're a small school, we'll fit in that bracket, or, we're a large company, we fit in that bracket, and people know where they are. So some of example clients, just a few that I've picked out. Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, Guildford College, Waikato University, obviously very big organisations, and then Christchurch Girls' School, Epsom Girls' School. So lots of smaller organisations as well who fit into that smaller bracket. So clients of all types. The only thing they really have in common is they are Moodle users. So, Marion, is this a yearly fee? No, it's not a yearly fee. It's a one-off purchase fee. There are no other fees involved. It's simply a one-off purchase. If you want to discuss licensing, then just drop me an email. I tend to handle all the licensing queries. That's fine. But just to show you a little bit as well about what these courses look like. Now, obviously, if you were discussing licensing, we would, give you access to a course, maybe set up a big blue button session, which we use to guide you through it and show you what's there. So this is the MoodleBites site where all these courses are delivered essentially by us. If we were to look into a course, we would see quite a neutral branded course, so that when it gets restored onto your site, it takes on your appearance. And we have some things within these courses which are common. We have glossaries relevant to the content of that particular week. We have little tips of the day generated from a random glossary block. We'll have RSS feeds to Moodle.org or other useful forums. All courses have activity completion available, and we also use the course completion block, so people can see how they're doing. Every course will have an introduction movie, which you could replace with your own if you were licensing. And then we have our forums for course discussion and off-topic stuff. And then the main course area is obviously a number of topics each week that we've selected that kind of hang together and build effectively week by week. Looking within one of those topics, and I've done this as screenshots rather than screen sharing because it always seems to work a little bit better. So, for example, within a topic here, this is all about glossaries. So we would have a movie about glossaries, explaining how they're put together, and then we'll have a number of examples of an activity, perhaps with very different settings, showing the variety, the number of different ways a glossary can be used. With, in this example, we've got an artist glossary and with lots of images and so on. And then we'll have a virtual teacher, which is a kind of little cartoon virtual teacher who crops up throughout the course. We'll have a task for people to complete, and then we'll refer people back to the forum for discussion. And then for each topic, we'll also have some further reading, so people can go on and find more information if that's an area that's of interest to them. At the end of each week, we have quiz and feedback. So we ask for feedback on the course, and you can't do the quiz till you've done the feedback. So that makes people give us feedback, which is really nice. We also, and then we'll have a quiz, which is reliant on these activities being completed. And in these courses, you know, in ours, people need to get 80% to pass. There's a scenario lesson here. I just want to mention that as well, specifically. Each week, as well as straightforward quizzes and tasks, we also have these scenario lessons, which are kind of a bit more complex or sophisticated or challenging. And we have a character within each course, different character each week. And what we're doing is looking at this person as a real teacher who is developing their Moodle skills and has a question or a challenge or an option about the way they're going to deliver something in the following week, for example. And therefore, there are a number of different options or choices that he can make. And these scenarios are not necessarily very easy. Some of them are quite difficult or challenging, and there are multiple pages here in the lesson, but it really pushes people to think about how they're applying their knowledge, and they're not just kind of passively reading things, they're actually thinking about how they could use this in a real sense. So that kind of finishes the presentation. I am absolutely happy to take any questions at this point. Please don't forget to enter the competition. We do appreciate you came along to this session, and you do have a chance of winning a free course. So there are 3 to give away. You have a reasonably statistically good chance of winning something. So please enter. Happy to take any questions in the chat, or if anyone wants to grab the mic, I'm happy to pass that over as well.
Thanks so much, Stuart. From personal experience, I know the time and the care with the tutoring that your staff put into these offerings. It's brilliant. Does anyone out there have any other specific questions? Okay, my only other question is, are you able to flip back to the slide that shows the pricing on them? Because I needed to take a screenshot of it. And I'm sure others probably would like to as well.
Yeah, is that the pricing for the individual courses or the licensing?
Yes, the pricing for the individual courses. I think there might be a few people who'd just love to take a snapshot of that one there.
Okay, so
send it off to their bosses later today.
So that's the slide, and I will put this presentation once the session's finished. I will put this into the course area. So yeah, they're the prices, and as I said earlier, you know, the developers one, if you do know people that want a development course, get them in for the October one because it's going to be so much cheaper. So all this information will be in the course. I'll upload this as soon as we've finished. And if there's no more questions, I'd just like to thank everyone for coming along. Hope that's been useful. Always happy to hear feedback as well, or ideas for new courses or new approaches. You know, we don't think we have necessarily perfect solutions. We think we've got a very good variety and spread of courses and support now, and these are fantastic courses. But yeah, always happy to hear feedback from you, and enjoy the rest of the Moot. Thank you very much.